Do you have a DonorsChoose.org project that needs funding? Today's sponsor is Advancement Courses, and they are donating 10% of their sales until September 28th to DonorsChoose.org projects. And if you're needing professional development for yourself, you get 20% off their 200-plus online PD courses using this special code just for 10-Minute Teacher listeners. So stay tuned at the end of the show. MasterMind Educator Groups to build safe spaces for innovation. Episode 366.
The 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with Vicki Davis. Every weekday, you'll learn powerful, practical ways to be a more remarkable teacher today.
So today we're talking with Rebecca Mieliwocki. She was 2012 National and California Teacher of the Year. She is a teacher developer in Burbank. Now, Rebecca, you are excited about MasterMind Educator Groups. What is that?
I love MasterMind Groups. I was reading a blog on Cult of Pedagogy by Jen Gonzalez, and she had interviewed a school administrator named Daniel Bauer. And he talked about how he wanted a space where he could get passionate, like-minded teacher leaders together to chew on the problems of practice and to inspire each other and motivate each other to do great things for kids. He initially wanted that on his campus, but he couldn't find the right combination of people that could meet as often as he wanted to meet. So he went off campus and kind of collected some people from around his various networks. And that wasn't ultimately that satisfying because they couldn't meet as often as he wanted to. And he found a way to kind of drill down to get the right collection of 9 people who would meet monthly and really just get excited about teaching and learning together. After a year of doing this, he was just sort of amazed and astounded by how much they grew, how many challenges they tackled together, how many incredible and inspirational projects they were able to do for kids. And as soon as I read that, I wanted that for myself. So I pitched it to a really amazing new teacher at a middle school where I work, and he said, I'm in. We invited 8 teachers from around that campus, all different genders, all different, veteran number of years teaching, all different content areas. And we met once a month for a year, Friday afternoons of all things, when they'd rather be doing something else. And every time we met, I would always bring something that was new in education, a new idea, a new technology, a new strategy, or an article that had made a splash. I would share, and then we would all go around the circle and share either something we had been dreaming about wanting to do with kids or for kids, or a challenge that we were having that we really needed some thought partnership on to help kind of unlock that or crack that code, if you will. I'm telling you, we did everything. We'd laugh together. We cried together. We used conference periods to go observe each other. We built things. And after a year, we had done Genius Hour in about 8 classrooms. We had done cross-curricular units on modern plagues. We had done an entire school-wide grade-level Star Wars-themed academic Olympics for the entire 8th grade. And we had just done things great and small. And we'd done so much more than any one teacher could have done on his or her own. And I'm telling you, it's just that schools need spaces where the really passionate, really enthusiastic, super hyped, kind of naive among us can get together and feel safe to dream together, to share, to vent, but stay positive and support each other. And so that's what this group was. And it was such a hit. I asked my boss, the assistant superintendent, if I could spread it to the other schools, and she absolutely gave me a green light. So I've gone live with now 3 schools, and I hope to add the 2 high schools next year.
Awesome. What's the typical pushback? I mean, I can hear it. Well, we want everybody to be this excited.
Yes. I think the learning curve for me has been about how subtle and nuanced the process of choosing the group members and inviting them in and allowing this thing to exist without it feeling exclusive or insular or like it's a private members-only club that every teacher couldn't be part of. But you have to really kind of be thoughtful about that because it isn't a place for cynicism. It isn't a place for negativity. It isn't a place where the word no gets said a lot. And to be honest and fair, not every teacher rolls like that. So you want to kind of curate the group, but you've got to figure figure out how to balance making it also invitational for anybody who might want to. Because I know there are teachers out there who have had a bad year or have had a run of struggle, and they would love something like this to help reignite the passion. So this should exist for them too. They should be given that chance. So figuring out who can be in the group and how we get them in there without it being 40 teachers, because then you don't get the individual attention that makes this thing work so well. That's been tricky. Also noticing now that I'm at 3 schools, just the culture and the personality of the group is so different from site to site. And so I'm learning as a leader to how to navigate those waters, how to coach the greatness and inspire them when they act differently or behave differently than the group that I'm really used to. So I'm getting a workout for sure. And that's something that as I go, I journal a lot and I make notes about what's working for this group and what does that teacher need from me. So it's just been an amazing little project for all of us, and I'm learning more than they are. And it's just thrilling to watch it blossom and come to life.
Are there any common mistakes that you found that happen that hurt mastermind groups and make it difficult to have them be successful?
It's early yet, but I'm noticing that unless a teacher comes to the group with that continuous growth and improvement mindset, that sense of humility of, yeah, I'm good. I've taught for a while. I know my content, but I've got a lot to learn, and I'm curious and I wonder a lot and I don't have all the answers. If they don't come with even a little bit of that, it's a struggle, I'm noticing. And I'm new at the widespread nature of Mastermind. So the personalities in the first group just jibe together so beautifully. But then the new groups, I've got people who have a bit more swagger, a bit more success under their belt or experience, and they're really used to kind of trading on that. But that doesn't always open up collaboration opportunities. It doesn't always open a space where we can be honest and truthful and risk and vulnerable. So I'm just trying to keep tabs on those personality combinations and try to gently remind those people that it's okay to be in a space of humility, that it's okay to come with, I don't know. Yet.
Yeah, because if it's a status symbol, if somebody's in there for the title or for the thing on the resume, it can kind of break the organic nature. I mean, at least that's what I found. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I try to model by asking more questions than declarative statements made. And I do that so that the person who does always respond with, well, I do it this way, or when I did that, which is off-putting, to be honest. Instead, I would want that person to say, well, have you tried this? Or what do you think would happen if you did that? Like, I want them to be more of an inquirer than someone who's making statements about what they did when they did this and how it worked. That just doesn't allow a way in for a younger teacher or a less experienced teacher who has the same passion, but maybe not the same skill level. So I've got to keep the avenues open, and that's been tough.
So, Rebecca, if somebody's listening to this and they're saying, okay, I'm excited, I want to do this, where do they start?
I think what they do is first need to identify a school teacher at a campus that could lead this, because you do need a leader on site that can cheerlead for the group, that can nurture them and remind them that we're in this together. So you've got to be real careful about who you choose. It's got to be somebody that teachers respect. It's got to be somebody with a lot of positive energy and good, warm vibes, and they've got to be able to kind of run a group. You will be there, of course, with them, but you want to share responsibility equally with that site teacher leader. Then you let that teacher leader choose the other 8 to 10 teachers, and you just ask them, please spread it around among young and old, all color kind of teacher, all level of experience, all content area. We want a really nice, equitable balance, because that just makes for good work. It does. And then you give them a month to maybe figure out the team, and then you make invitations and you say, you've been selected, or your name was mentioned as somebody who would be a great fit for this group we're running after school. And that way people feel so honored and respected, and they feel a little tingly and excited. And so you have the first meeting and you sit in a circle and you introduce yourself and why they've been chosen and what the group is for and what it is and what it isn't. And then you ask them to go around and say who they are and what they teach and what is something they've always dreamed of doing in the classroom but didn't quite have enough energy or time or know-how that we could work on this year together. And I'm telling you, I've seen everything. I've seen teachers break down in tears on that first go around, crying and saying, I have worked so hard to do good things for kids, and I didn't think anybody ever noticed or cared. I mean, I know my administrator cares for me, and if I was doing a bad job, I know I wouldn't still be here. But really, honestly, I didn't think anybody noticed, and I'm just so thankful that something like this exists and that you thought I was the right person for it. I mean, literally, they can't speak. They're choking back tears, and that just tells me how important it is that there be safe spaces on every campus where teachers don't need an invitation to be great, that they can just feel supported and inspired daily by each other. But that doesn't always happen. So until that exists, this MasterMind group does. And I'm glad it can feed a teacher's soul and help inspire them to greatness.
I love that. We need safe spaces to collaborate and to communicate. And that's really what I think MasterMind groups are about, having those safe places to take those forward steps together. Thank you, Rebecca. From now until September 28th, Advancement Courses, an online provider of professional development for K-12 teachers, is donating 10% of their sales to funding DonorsChoose.org projects. Go to advancementcourses.com/give to submit your project today. And if you're in need of professional development, the 10-Minute Teacher listeners like you can get 20% off any online courses with the code COOL20. That's COOL 20. With this coupon, a 3 grad credit course for continuing education, salary advancement, or recertification is only $359. So go to advancementcourses.com/coolcat to learn more and make sure you use that coupon code COOL20. Never stop learning.
Thank you for listening to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. You can download the show notes and see the archive at coolcatteacher.com/podcast. Never stop learning.